Hey, this is Technical 𝗪𝗵𝗲, and today we're going to be reviewing the OnePlus Nord. Okay, bad jokes aside, I made a few videos on your salary structure breakdown and about ESOPs and shares, and strangely, I got a few requests, so both on LinkedIn and as well as on YouTube, on people asking tips on how to negotiate a better salary package or how to negotiate an appraisal. I have been on both sides of the table at multiple times because I have been running a startup which is coding blocks, and then I was leading the Android team at Zomato, and now I'm working at a big enterprise company like Target, and I've sat on both sides of the table discussing salary negotiations, both when trying to increase my package within the same company and people asking me the same, and also when somebody new is joining on board or when I am negotiating offers somewhere else. So I think this entire discussion breaks down into answering these 5 questions: the what, the why, the when, the whom, and the how of this entire process. So we're going to be breaking this down in today's video. Okay, first thing, let's talk about what. Now, you might be thinking, what? I want my salary to increase. No. So when you think of the negotiation process and you get into a room with your manager or your leader or somebody, and you will be discussing, or when you're getting a job offer, you'll be discussing with the HR person, the recruiter, about your salary package. The what is very important. Is what is the least amount of money that you want out of it. And apart from the money, it's also important that you have the other factors in your mind very clear. Do you want to work less hours? You're feeling like the pressure of too much work hours. That could be something. For example, when I initially joined at Zomato, I discussed that I am running a startup in coding blocks, and I can't be devoting 100% of my time at Zomato, and I will be coming 3 days a week. Okay. So that's a different kind of negotiation. Of course, you are not just talking about the money is not the only variable in play. You're talking about the other things as well. Whether you are looking for a different role, a different responsibility. Are you looking to you have been the best person in your team and you want to lead that team. So those are all the questions. So I would say take a notebook, note down all the points, think what are the things that are completely non-negotiable for you. Like when you come out of that room after having that discussion, you should not feel like I just forgot saying this particular thing, or I could not express myself properly, I did not put forward my requirements properly, and that's why I did not get what I was expecting. You need to be very clear to yourself first, then only you can tell the other person in front of you that what is it that you exactly want. And you need to make very sure that do not let the other person negotiate beyond what well-defined limits you have in the first place. So if you think your salary is 8 lakhs per annum, and you are trying to negotiate a salary to 12 lakhs, but you have a hard stop at 10, you won't agree to anything below 10. So you need to discuss that. You need to make that very clear when you're having that discussion. And if it's below 10, you need to be ready to think of other options at that particular point. So very clear about the what. Okay. The second most important thing, which people again think is very obvious, but you need to have very clear in your head, is why. Okay, uh, the why can't be answered simply as I just feel I need more money, or I just feel I need a better package, because everybody feels so. Everybody who is working in any job thinks that they're getting paid less and they should be paid more. That's common to everybody. It's not like anybody wants to pay less than what they are paid. Everybody wants to get paid more than what they're getting paid. But the why should be very clearly answered. Either it is that the level of work that you're doing and your peers in the same place are doing, they are getting compensated more than you are, or you have gotten some extra additional responsibility in the recent times, which were not there as part of your job profile earlier, and hence because you are fulfilling those responsibilities, you feel you should get a higher compensation. Or another thing is that not all whys can be answered with an increase in salary. So if your manager is a toxic person, does not talk in a nice way with you, do not have a good relationship with your team, or you don't like the work that you're doing, these kind of problems, these whys can't be answered with an increase in pay package. Like if you don't like the team you're working with or the manager whom you're working with, and they insult you or something on a daily basis, that's a very different kind of a problem. And if your salary increases even to twice what it was, you will feel good for 2 3 months. You will feel like, okay, I will just digest all of these insults and I will sit in this place which is toxic to my mental health. just because I'm getting this extra money. But 2-3 months down the lane, you will again start feeling the same way, because that was not a money problem and you're trying to solve it with a money solution. Okay, so be very clear about the why. And before you talk to anybody else, talk to yourself and find out that the why for your case can actually be answered with an increased salary package or not. If not, think of changing roles, think of changing teams, think of changing departments, and of course you can also think of changing companies as well. Okay, but be sure that you answer the why. Okay, another question that needs to be answered is the whom. Whom will you talk to about this? And who all are a part of this equation when you're thinking of getting a raise. Now, in some cases, it can be very obvious. In big organizations, generally, you have a very straightforward, linear hierarchy. You have a manager that's the only person with whom you ever talk to, and that's the only person who probably knows about your existence. For example, in a company like Target, for example, where I'm working, I think anybody above my manager does not know I exist in the world. Okay, that's how big company hierarchies are designed. Companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, like that. If you work in Google, you will never meet Sundar Pichai ever in your life. Okay, so Sundar Pichai will not even know your name, even if you work there for maybe even 5-6 years. Okay, so. Of course, the whom cannot be Sundar Pichai. You're not going to go and talk to Sundar Pichai about your salary increments, right? In a little smaller companies where you have got 200, 300 people teams, 1,000 people teams, the person whom you need to talk to could be a little more muddier. It could be that your team lead is not exactly the person who is your designated manager, like on your HR software, on your portal, whoever is your manager, and the person whom you daily basis talk to are different people. So you need to first make sure that you talk to two people. One, the person who is going to take the call, who will actually sign off on the new remuneration and the new compensation, who has the authority to do that. That's one person whom you need to talk to. Another person you need to talk to is the person who will provide your feedback. If the two people are same, that's great. In many cases it is. They might not be the same. So your team lead or somebody senior in your team who would be asked about your feedback, you can go and tell that, I'm working more, I'm working harder, and I need to get a better salary package. They will say that, okay, I will get your review, I will get your feedback from other team members, and then I will talk back to you, right? So these other people who will be asked about your performance review, you need to have of course a very good relationship with those people, and you need to make sure that before you start your salary negotiations, you have actually made a good impression on those people. You have actually helped your coworkers. They feel like you are a great person at your job, and you help them when they need your help or something like that, right? So it's very important that all the stakeholders who are involved in this thing, the people whose reviews are included in your performance report, the immediate senior person or mentor in your company, and the person who would be signing off on your new compensation, you have a good impression on all of those people, and you talk to all those people, and then you plan your negotiations accordingly. That's very important. Okay. And before going to the how, the final important piece of the puzzle is the when, and it's a very crucial piece of the puzzle. Now, there could be a situation where your company has annual appraisal cycles. So every year in the month of June, there are appraisals. That's how it happens in many companies in India, because people join in the month of June usually. In those cases, generally in the month of April or May, somewhere you have got your review cycles. So your managers or your seniors in the team, they file your performance reviews, and based on that, you generally have a feedback meeting or growth meeting. HR can call it using a lot of names, right? The meeting where you talk to your manager and they discuss what your aspirations are, how do you want to grow. They ask you to rate yourself in how you're doing. Those discussions also are taken as inputs, and finally your salary package decided. That's a annual schedule, and that happens for everybody usually. Okay, but other than that, if sometimes you want to go out of the way, maybe in the last appraisal cycle you got a very little small appraisal, but now you feel like you're really ready to ask for a bigger appraisal or a compensation boost, because you're working on something good. It's very important that the immediate last 1 or 2 months before the time when you negotiate your salary appraisal, you have brought big impact to the team or to the company, or to the people whom you will be talking to. This is really important that the timing is there. Now, if very recently you have done something, you have done a mistake, maybe dropped the table on production or stuff like that, or you have committed a few bugs that needed hot fix immediately. I'm talking in a very tech perspective here. That's what our audience is. But if you have done a few silly mistakes in your job, or you have kind of pissed off a couple of people just before the time when you feel like you want to negotiate, hold off for a few months. Do something good, launch something, ship something, and then write an email to the entire team or to the entire company. Of course, generally when you ship something big, your team would be writing an email announcing that the new thing has been shipped. So, the best time is when in the immediate past there has been something impactful from your side. If such a thing has not happened, then it's not the right time to be negotiating a salary. That's very, very important. Okay. Okay, and finally we come to the how part. Okay, so the how is how do you approach the people whom you need to talk to about this, and what do you say to them? So first of all, you need to, after you have picked up the correct person, the correct time, and you have decided why you want the salary appraisal, and you know what exactly you want. All of these things are clear in your mind. That time, let's set up a meeting. Okay, now to set up a meeting, you should write a very professional message over something like Slack or about on email or something. Really important is that it's completely your right to ask about an improvement in your compensation if you feel so. Don't be shy about doing it. I know a lot of people who spend months just thinking about asking about an appraisal and they don't do it. It's kind of a drawback of the Indian education and society system, where we are very afraid of speaking up to people in authority. We feel, and we don't like to talk about money. It feels that we are not a good person if we ask for more money. But in your relationship with your company, it's an equal relationship. Okay, you are renting out your time. They are taking X number of hours from you, and they're paying you Y amount of rupees to you in exchange for that. Okay, if you feel the X has increased and you want the Y to be increased, you need to talk about it. Okay, if you feel the responsibilities that you have is increased, you need to talk about it. There is no shame in doing this. There is nothing bad about talking about money to your managers. Okay, that's a very important thing. Okay, so how do you start off this communication, right? So write a message or an email line which does not very blatantly speak about money or compensation directly. Like if you send a message, like whoever is your CTO, maybe Rahul. So hey Rahul, your manager or your CTO or your team lead or whatever the person is with whom you have to talk about this, you send a message to like Rahul, like hey Rahul, I want to talk about my salary. Can I schedule some time tomorrow? Does not look nice. Okay. Also, the other way around, if you just say, hey Rahul, I wanted to talk to you about something, that's kind of too vague. It could be that you are facing some technical problem and that's why you're talking to him, or it could be like you have gotten a job offer from some other company and you're talking to him. Does not give you a good perspective. So what do you say? So you generally write, in a little corporate professional lingo, you write, I want to discuss about my future and growth prospects, something like that. Okay, that shows that you want to discuss a little bit about your growth in the company, which automatically will revolve around your compensation. It shows a positive intent. You want to grow within the company. You are not, talking about, hey, increase your salary or I will go away, not something like that. It does not very blatantly put forward the fact that you're asking for more money out there, okay, which might be a little putting off to some people. So that's how you write, and let's schedule a meeting, a one-on-one conversation, and we'll discuss things during that one-on-one conversation. Now, during the conversation, it's very important that when you walk into the door, into that meeting, you need to, understand that, you will not get 2-3 goes at it. You're going to have to, play all your hands in that single meeting, okay? Because generally we're talking about like the kind of audience that we have here in our videos. Those people who are seeing, you would be at a junior, mid-level tech guy in a company. You'd be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years experience. You're not like a VP of engineering or something that there will be negotiations which will go around for 2-3 weeks. It will be a one-shot thing, okay? So when you go in, if you answer the what and the why clearly, then you have those answers in your mind, which is very important. You need to be equipped with that. You need to tell what is it that you want and why do you want. Very clearly, you state that. Okay. once you do state that, make sure that during this conversation you not just discuss about money, but you also discuss about what your future looks like in the organization. You have to discuss, in the next 6 months to 1 year, where does your manager or your team leader or whoever sees you going? What do they expect from you? What are the things that they suggest for you to improve? One thing I generally suggest is, when you talk to your manager regarding this, uh, ask the first thing you should ask is, before breaching the topic, about before even expressing the intent that you want your compensation to increase, discuss that, is there any feedback for you? Is there anything that you can improve? Is there anything that they want you to do? Okay, and this is a very important part of the game. Okay, now if the answer to this is a very long answer from them, if they suggest you 10 different points to improve, if they suggest you 50 improvements, okay, that's a hint for you to not breach the compensation topic right now, because it's not going to go well. Because if they have so many points for improvement for you, if they think that there are so many changes that you can do, it means their overall picture for you in their mind is not like a 10 by 10. They have like a 6 by 10 picture of you in their mind. They're asking you what all things you can do to go to 8 by 10. It's your hint to, either if you're really frustrated, look for a different job, or wait for 2-3 months, improve upon, take those feedbacks, improve upon them. Okay, now once you do breach the topic of your compensation here, give a very specific number, and be very specific about what exactly do you want. Don't say that, maybe you can give me 2 lakh bonus, or maybe you can give me 2 lakhs more in the base salary. Don't talk about give them too many options or something like that. Be very honest and be very straight. I feel like, my base fixed income should be 10 lakhs, should be 12 lakhs, whatever number you have in your mind. Just be very honest with that number to them. Okay, this number should be very specific. Don't give a big range. Don't say I should get 10 to 15. Not like that. That does not work. Give them a specific number. Say I'm expecting this. Okay, probably give them 2 numbers. Give them, below below 10. It does not make sense for me. Okay, but I really am expecting something like 12. Okay, the expectation number should also be a single number, and the base number should also be a single number. They can't be ranges. Okay, I think minimum I should get 8 to 10, maximum I should get 12, 15. You're just confusing people. Don't be so vague. Okay, that's important. Now, as we go ahead in this conversation, they would be asking you, why do you want that compensation? And they might be agreeing with you, they might not be agreeing with you, they might be, saying that so increasing to such a big number is not possible. Those kind of things can happen. Okay. Now, I'm talking about a very ideal scenario, where not something like COVID, where the company's financial situation might be in a bad state, where the company might be not doing profit. So, for example, we even at a lot of places, I know my friends have startups. We have at Coding Blocks, a lot of companies. They have not been having appraisals during the pandemic season. Right now, when I'm recording this video, not talking about such a situation. I'm talking about an ideal situation. In that case, when what you need to do is use this trick, which is bring that person on your team. Okay, so generally they might have to get that number cleared from some level above them. Okay, so unless you are in a very small startup and you're talking to the founder itself, or you're talking to the CTO or the CFO, somebody who is actually finally taking the call, that's a different case. Otherwise, if they have to talk to a level upper, you have to start talking in a little more way, that is, can you show my performance and talk on my behalf, and is it possible for you to negotiate it to 14? Talk of it like that, because if they feel that this salary negotiation is something in which you and they are also part of, and it has to be negotiated from one level above, if they feel like that, they feel like they are on your team and they will help you in the process. Okay, so that's really very important. The other thing is, this is a psychological trick, in the corporate world people use a lot, is phrase things in the way like, so you mean to say that in your capability you can't do, not really use the word capability, but so you're saying that it's not possible for you to do it to 14. So when you say it that way, it raises a question on their capability if you phrase the word in that way. So is it possible that you are not able to do it? So when you phrase it that way, anytime somebody talks to you and they say that, oh, okay, you can't do that, you are not able to do that, whenever somebody says that to you, automatically there are some inbuilt defense mechanisms which kick off, and you start thinking that, hey, who said I can't do it? I can do it, right? So that inner defense mechanism you can make use of. Okay, it's something a lot of corporate self-help books will tell you as well. It's not a very new thing, but not a lot of people use it. And my personal experience is that, if for most people whom you're going to be talking to, this is something that will work. You can just say, especially like if they have to negotiate that number with an higher authority themselves, like, so you go and negotiate with them, they will talk to somebody above them, and then they will clear that number for you. In that case, if you say that, oh, is it possible that you won't be able to make it 14? Is that like that? If you ask, if you say it in that tone, then they would be fighting on behalf of you to get that number. Okay, so yeah, I think you put all of these things together, you have a specific number in your mind, you have a very good reason of why it should be, you are able to convince that person that, your responsibilities have increased, or the work you're putting in has increased, whatever, then, and you can use these tactics. I'm sure there would be a positive outcome. I know a lot of people who watch our channel, they are not yet in a job, and some of them have just joined their job. So this is something that might be useful to you at some point later in time. If it is useful at that point, then great. If you are already like 1 or 2 years into your job and there's something that will immediately help you, hope it does. Okay, if you have any other suggestions for things that you would want me to make videos on, please write down in the comments. Okay, and feel free to share this video to somebody else whom you feel this can help, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.